Hi guys, it's Mrs. Lencioni back with the last of our 4 reading strategies. This one is called a QAR. It's for question-answer relationship. And in this reading strategy, you create your own questions and then you answer them. There's 4 different categories that these questions fall into. And you can see them here. There's right there questions, think and search, author and you, and on my own. So we're going to go one by one through these. And instead of having a key afterwards, I filled in parts of this right now because I think it's easier for you to see as we go. And because there's an infinite number of questions out there, when you do yours, you're just going to use different questions than I did. Okay. So for right there questions, what you're going to do is in the text, that is an easy level question because the answer is right in front of you. So to give you an example here, I highlighted this in blue. We're going to look at what I highlighted in blue in the text. Okay. It says, his administration's push to reopen classrooms faces resistance, not only from teachers' unions, but from some parents. In Axios poll, 71% of parents call it risky. So what I did was I took a fact that I read, and now I'm going to make a question out of it. So my question is, what percent of parents think that returning to school is risky? And I answered it, it's 71%. I didn't have to have a lot of outside thought for this. All I had to do was find something directly stated in the text. Okay. Now the questions get a little more abstract as we go. So the next one is think and search. Right here, I had one fact I asked a question about, but for these questions, you're going to take a body of information to make a question about. So what I'm going to do is over here, so this is highlighted in yellow. Let's look at what I highlighted in yellow here. Okay, there is a bunch of different facts or quotes to support an argument that kids should go back to school. So every time I saw an argument for why kids should go back to school, I highlighted it. Here's one over here. Okay, you could see they're spread out throughout the text. And I wrote the question, what arguments exist for sending kids back to school? And I used the evidence that I found throughout the text. It wasn't one simple piece of evidence to answer that question. And you can read the answer here. Okay, so this is one piece of information. This makes you take different parts of the text and put it together to create a question and answer. And now, in the next one, the author and you, this is what I find that students struggle the most with, okay? So I am going to read the instructions to you. It says, these questions are based on information provided in the text, but the student is required to relate it to their own experience. Although the answer does not lie directly in the text, the student has to have read the text to answer the question. So the question I came up with is, what do you think of Trump's ideas on returning to school? The only way that you could answer that question is if you had read about what Trump's ideas are, okay? So now you have that information, and now you introduce yourself into the question, okay? What do you think about it? So you're going to combine information you read in the text with your own personal thoughts for this sort of question, okay? And lastly, these on my own questions do not require you to have read the text at all. You could create the question and the answer without ever having read the text. So the question I created that is related to this is, did you like remote learning? Now, it's related to, they said things about remote learning in the text, but you're not going to find an answer about what you think about it. And you certainly don't have to read this article in order to come up with that question. So they get a little bit more abstract as you go. You're going to go back to the article and do your own. Okay, come up with questions and answers. You can see I didn't answer these two because it was about my personal thoughts. You're going to answer the ones that do have to do with your personal thoughts. And don't forget to submit your assignment. Have a great day, guys.